Hey there, sports fans. Welcome back. It's another episode of Dinner with the Captain. I'm John Dinner, and to my left here is Captain Steve Priolo, captain of your National Lacrosse League Buffalo Bandits. League champions. Like, do you guys do like a President's Cup or anything like that, like they do in the NHL? Do you guys get something for finishing the top of the table? There's nothing.
Nothing, man. You know what we did once? We got T-shirts once. They used to celebrate like division champions.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
But
since they've gone to the table,
yeah, like I don't know. Nobody really cares, though,
Yeah.
right? At the end, that's why they don't grab that cup, right? That's
Yeah.
why they don't touch that cup in hockey. Right?
yeah,
It's
sure.
like-
Yeah. In the end, right?
Yeah, there's so much more to just finishing first in the league, especially in a one-game series and playoffs, right?
Yeah.
We're getting right into it now, eh? Like, holy moly.
Yeah, we're
Hey, we
rolling.
gotta go cheers
All right,
first,
yeah, all
buddy.
right,
We got a
okay,
couple
here we go.
pints here.
Yeah, our friends from Lake of Bays once again, still not sponsoring us yet, but we're sponsoring them because
Because they have good beer.
They do have great beer, and this one's a Juicy Light IPA.
Right on.
All right, downtime.
Mm-hmm.
Not much of that for you these days.
Oh man, busy.
Busy.
It's good though. Good busy.
Yeah, and it is one of those things, right, that sort of goes part and parcel with success, but also the end of the year that people start paying a little bit more attention to what's going on, right? As much as the excitement around maybe the three-peat all season, it's really just now it's time, right? The March to May is over. Everybody's, well, not, in fact, when we talked about, nobody knows what's going on when it comes to the playoffs, other than the fact that you've got home floor advantage. It looks like Saskatchewan's going to have home floor advantage. And then probably the other two teams that are at the top of the table that just remind me is Halifax and Vancouver, incredibly.
They're good, man.
And then
They're a
Roch,
good squad.
all at 10-7, still fighting it out. So that 4-5 game is going to be a slobber knocker.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, it's exciting, right? Because we're in a good spot. We put ourselves in a position that is tough to get into, and we, having that home floor advantage throughout playoffs, no matter who we play, is super important when you have a fan base like Banditland, right? So,
And they
man,
showed up.
19,200 every 5 games this year.
Well, and again, a regular season attendance record. And if you haven't had a chance to take in a game at the KeyBank Center, playoff tickets are on sale right now, probably pretty close to sold out. I mean, I'm sure they'll sell out once they know for sure who they're playing. But man, it is an atmosphere that can't be beat in sports. And I've been pretty lucky. And if you listen back to the beginning of the podcast, I sort of got to brag about some of the things I've done in the sporting world and where I've been. And man, like, I wish I was there when the milkman scored the goal, because I'm getting goosebumps all over again, because that was a wild scene.
Did you see Josh and Dane's pod?
I haven't, but I know he was on it. So.
Yeah. Man, I watched one clip too, and it was talking about when he was ragging the ball at the glass, and he's just yelling at the fans, and it's just so exciting, man.
Oh, man.
It's
good
hilarious
stuff, right? And I mean, obviously, we're pretty big fans of the sport, but then when it gets up another level, and we were such big fans of the sport that we got a little carried away last week. I got carried away talking about my minor sports and stuff like that, and I'm obviously very passionate. I think things are really important, but it led us.
Before we move on, dude,
Yeah.
I got a ton of good feedback about that,
Yeah.
about talking about minor sports. I remember, yes, there's good feedback about the pod in general, but man, my dad was like, it's nice to know other people are going through the same things we went through when we were going up through the minor league, right?
Yep.
It's
like it's like, what did you say earlier? A slogger hogging? it's a grind, man, trying to figure out how the kids fit together and what.
Well,
what
and that's it. And you
divisions.
never know if you're doing it the right way, right?
You never know,
and so
man.
what I hope is that you just do it with some conviction, and try to stick to your guns, and try not to let too much emotion get in the way because if you've made a good decision without the emotion, try to stick to it. And again, lacrosse does it really well. But we got emotional last week, and we missed something that I think was important, and I think can lead into a really good conversation for the rest of this podcast. Is Matt Vince scored?
Yeah,
it's 2 weeks
since
ago,
2008.
We know, humble guy, and he wants to play the right way, and his job is to keep the ball out of the net. He loved that, didn't he?
Man, it's so funny because we've been bugging him to shoot. Like, we want him to shoot that all the time, right? It's, for us at the end of the game, it's like, if they come back and they get another shot on net, then it is what it is. But to him, he's so focused on making the right play all the time.
And he's looking at the clock, he's doing this, and he's
that's what it is. Like,
right?
the stars kind of have to align for him to shoot the ball at all, right?
Yeah.
Like, he just won't do it because there's always an outlet pass. There's always the right thing to do. And this was like under a minute left, and then 5 of us just had a heck of a
Yeah, because
shift.
they had a number of chances on that, right? You guys have been out, I think, probably 2, maybe 3 consecutive chances.
Man, and we were gassed, and then he got that ball, and we were like, I don't know if we had any timeouts left either. That's the other thing that's sort of on your mind, right? And you're just going like, I'm not running for an outlet right now.
Well, you had
tired.
mentioned it this afternoon that there wasn't an outlet for him, and so I kind of went back and looked at it, and you're like, you're not kidding, like,
dude, 5 of us stood there.
one guy went behind the net just to be sure, and the other 2, and it almost looked, I don't know who it was, but one guy almost like he was kind of keeled, like, don't pass it to me. Like, I got nothing left, like,
right at the last minute, because I
didn't realize how long he had actually held onto the ball for.
Man, I literally turned to him and I was like, shoot it if you want to, V. And he looked at me. He's like, I don't want. Like, he didn't say anything back, but it was like there was pause, and then at the last second, I'm like, oh, he's probably gonna at least dump it down there. So then at the last second, I took off, and as I ran down the floor, the ball was up in the air, and it was perfectly dead center in the net, and I don't know. He had a smile on his face the rest of the night. He was happy about it. Whether he says it was a big moment or not, you can tell it's like, that's fun, man. Doing shit
fun,
like that
right?
is fun.
Again, right back to the whole point of everything, right? When you go back to minor sports and everything, fun. And so lots and lots of fun. And we talked about it last week, some of the fun that comes out of those contagious shifts, right? And you had a contagious shift in our most recent game.
Oh, yeah.
It had been a back and forth affair. It kind of looked like you guys had taken control, and then back came Halifax, right? I mean, it was a great lacrosse game to watch. How did it feel to play?
It was good. It was difficult because they just kept finding ways to score on us, right? You keep thinking you're doing things right and you're putting them in positions you want them to be in, and they just kept scoring. So it forced us to adjust a couple times, not just sort of 1 or 2 adjustments. We were kind of making adjustments the whole time, at least on defense, and eventually had to get into quite a bit of pressure to
Does that make it a fun game or a frustrating game if you guys are constantly having to adjust when you're
No, frustrating comes from like, I don't know what's happening. Why is this going in? And then this was like, okay, now we have to make an adjustment. It was more of a chess match.
Best on best.
Exactly,
kind of
right? So it was a chess match the whole time, and those guys are really smart players, right? So,
and again, guys that you've faced
forever
and played with, right? Like, I mean, I think they announced, I think at one point Jameson now has passed Dan Dawson for the most points against the Buffalo Bandits in like history, right? Like,
well, man, when he was playing for Rochester, we must have played him 4 or 5 times a year.
Right?
Like, it was crazy. That was when we played Roch, 4 times, Toronto 4 times, and then like a Minnesota team. And you're like, is there anybody else in this league? Like, can I go to Colorado, please?
Yeah, and then for a couple of years, you're like, I'm kind of done with Colorado.
Yeah, I'm definitely done with Colorado. That's hilarious.
So the game's this chess match and everything else, and you talked about doing things, and again, block shots from Paulie and you and everybody, and they were talking about it on the broadcast about just like Buffalo playing the right way, and it just couldn't seem to break through. And even though it didn't end up being the game winner, it really felt like your goal was that contagious shift that you'd kind of been looking for, the thing that was just going to tip the scales in your balance, or tip the balance of scales in your direction. Did it feel like that? Was that intended as when you're going down that floor and Ron John's got the ball and you're like, I'm going to run with you?
It's always intended when I get up there, but there's so many variables that can happen. I think the goal was sort of a product of the game style I was trying to play that day, right? I feel like against Halifax, we have a little bit more endurance. We have a little bit more speed getting up the floor. They like to linger around a little bit. They don't get off as well. So it was like we could push the ball a little bit on these guys. And when Buffalo pushes the ball, we're not really looking to score from the D end. We're looking we call them bench assists.
Right.
So like if Cam Wires can get, so I had a pass to Josh Byrne, right? Where it ran the ball to the floor. Josh came on the floor, passed it to him, and he scored. Right. I had Weiser on my left, and like. We come off and we're super stoked for Wires because he got to the bench to get Josh on, right? So those bench assists, we call them. They don't count for anything on the stats, but for us, that's a super important thing.
What do they call it in the screen assist in basketball?
Screen assist, yeah,
right.
Exactly.
And so I mean, and that's huge in lacrosse too, right? The screen assist, and that's what you talk about.
They keep track of screen assists, I think, in the NBA.
Well, they're starting to, right? Because again,
to,
all the analytics and everything else that goes into it, right? And that's, I mean, again, hopefully stuff that's going to build into the game of lacrosse, right? As there's access to, I mean, again, you can watch every single single
the
game
more
now, right?
the more stats we have, the better
Yeah.
understanding of the game we're gonna have.
Exactly, and
so that's an exciting thing. So I was sort of on the receiving end of Ron John doing the same thing I did on that shift, right, where he pushed it, and when talking with JT a lot, because normally I kind of seal down and let the guy sort of come over top and get a shot from the top, and he's been requesting of me that I sort of like brush pick that and slip to the post.
Yep.
Because it does a couple things. It keeps the goalie has to at least respect me, so it keeps him flatter on his line. So if Ron John wants to shoot that, the goalie can't step all the way out. And Ron passed me that ball, and I was kind of from that position. I got one option to get across, and
6'6" dude doing a crease dive. That's a tough save.
36-year-old 6.
But again, right, the reach and the angles and everything else like that. And then again, sort of the pop in the crowd when the captain puts the ball in the net. Like, you feel it, right?
Yeah, you do, because it's one of those things where it's like it feels as almost we got a bonus goal or something, right? It's like the game plan isn't for me to score goals. We talked about this last time I scored. I think the game plan can't be for me to score goals. And when I get one, it's like a nice little cherry that kind of gives us a boost, right? I don't remember what the score was around then, but I know
you took the lead. They came back and scored. It wasn't immediately, but it really did feel like that it was like almost inevitable, right?
I'm just wondering if it was before or after Mickey took a penalty, because we were up like 11. What were we up like? We were up like 10-9 or 11. I don't remember exactly what it was, but we took a penalty and then they scored on the power play, which tied it up. And then I think we scored 2 more or 3 more after that. It might have been 11-11, but
I think you might have made it 11-11. That's what I want to say too.
Yeah, but that puts us in that spot to sort of get ahead, right?
Or maybe put you guys at 12-11. What do we got here? The great NLL.com. I mean, it works quick and fast, and so Steve Priolo made it 11-11.
I made it 11-11,
and then Buchanan made it 12-11.
And then they scored. On the power, because I think was it a power play?
It doesn't, but I think it was right at the end. It was Jameson and local boy Huntsville. Jason Knox got an assist on that.
No way, Huntsville guy.
Yeah,
right on.
Yeah, that's great.
So then that made it 12-12, but we still had this momentum.
You did, like it just felt like it was kind of on, and then. Cam Wires, obviously it's the nail in the coffin.
When did he score?
He scored the 15th goal.
Oh, right on.
So, but it was, I mean, still 3 minutes left. But when we talk again about a contagious shift, like there's a D getting a goal, but it was a goal where it was a no doubter breakaway from your own like restraining line because of a block shot, right? And it just bursts out.
Dude, the block shot usually isn't enough to give your team a boost, right? If you can get a block shot and sort of get a 30-second violation, like that's usually a lot. But I remember it was funny because it kind of went off my like hip and it bounced out. Like the ball was shot off my hip, bounces out, and Cam picks it up. And I think the 9 of us just sort of stood there. Yeah. We're like, he's so far gone, man. Like, none of us are catching him. He was absolutely shot out of a cannon when he got that ball.
It really looked like it. And so this is where I was going with this one, because even though it's the 15th goal and so it's not a game winner, it's kind of towards the end, but it was such a no doubter, and for him to be able to score it, and for him to be a defender that's scoring it, it's coming off a block shot. Can that lead into, again, when we talk about contagious shifts, almost like a contagious game, right? So now you're going into Georgia this weekend and living off, like, is that still like a high that you guys are feeling, having played off that?
Yeah.
Like, do you believe in, I guess,
I don't know if it's
easier
a high.
Easier question. Do you believe in momentum game over game?
Yes, for sure, right? There's something to be said about when things are clicking and guys are on the same page and there's like a chemistry. So that's why it's important to those first early games, you need to figure out your team, right? And then I know we went 7-0 to start, but there's so much to figure out. It's these last games heading into playoffs. They're really important to start winning in a confident manner. Mm-hmm. So not just winning in overtime by a fluke thing, 9-9 or something, 10-9. Like
it can go anyway.
You want to win with confidence, and you want to be playing with confidence, right? So the last 2 games have felt really good, and then so hopefully if this Georgia game continues on that pattern, we'll be confident sort of going into that first round of playoffs. And yes, so yes, this contagious shifts lead to contagious games, which lead to contagious streaks, right? You get on a streak. When you're losing, it's easy to pile on the shit and just things, you lose, and it's hard to like dig your way out of that.
Yep.
The other thing is like it's easy to lose focus when you're just winning, right? All the time if it's coming really easy to you. But right now it's like the wins aren't coming easy. They're hard to get, but how we're winning is hitting, making us the two passes. They call it two away on offense, right? So it's like I'll pass to you and you pass to someone else. I'll pass to you, you pass to someone else who scores. It's like, I don't need to get it to that person, right?
Right. But that was almost the intention of that first pass is to open up
the next guy.
The next pass.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So that stuff is really important that we're hitting that in stride, and the boys are clicking up front, and we're feeling good on defense, and Vino looks great in that. So I don't know, man, like we're putting ourselves in a good position to be successful. Whatever happens going forward happens, but we're happy with the spot we're in.
Couldn't have asked for a better season in the end, right? You go and when we talked right back at the beginning, it's an 18-game season, and so you looked at it 6-game segments, and you went 6-0, then you went 5-4-2, and then now looking to hopefully stay 4-2, right? And but those are the kinds of things when you look at over the course of the season, you would have taken that at the beginning of the year, eh?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, our record is great.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, hindsight being 2020, but looking at it, maybe it's nicer to go 7-0 into the playoffs, but is it? Right?
I don't know. Look at Roch right now. What are they? They're on a heater, right?
Man, I think 8 in a row.
They're playing really great.
Yep.
So I don't know. It's
I had my standings up, and
this is that thing where you don't know if something's good until after the next thing happens, right? Yep. So put yourself in a good position. Keep doing the things you can to go forward, and it is what it is. And these contagious shifts, man, like they're so much fun. There was a shift when Jackie, I went to the stands after, and nothing really came of the shift, but she's like, man, when you blocked that shot and then got that loose ball and ran up through everything, passed to Josh, she hit the post, then there was a scramble, you guys are all fighting for it, and you got it again, then you got to play your offense. She's like, that was a lot of fun to watch. Yeah. And it's like, I'm like, yeah, man, like this is exciting stuff we're doing. We're trying our best. Yeah. Like, this is awesome.
And I think, again, what you talked about it a couple of weeks ago, like getting back to enjoying that, not just being like impressed with ourselves. We're supposed to do that, but being impressed with ourselves because it's fun and that's awesome.
Fun
what we
and
did.
Enjoy it.
Yeah. Speaking of some fun and enjoyment,
how about the dog down there? We got Honey here. She's just
special guest.
Oh, cold, man.
Hopefully that's not indicative of all of our podcast listeners. I put on dinner with the captain to go to sleep.
Hey, I do.
Hopefully that's. Well, we got to get those listens up. So anytime you guys want to click play, we're all for it.
That's hilarious.
So we're coming towards the end of the season, and I know a lot of teams do it, but the Bandits did their end of season awards before the second last game of the season.
The last home game.
So that's what it is. It's last home game. So is that part of like the whole fan appreciation evening?
Totally. So we presented to the fan appreciation, the fan of the year. Yeah. It's cool, man. I love the fan of the year thing because, well, for a lot of reasons, but I can pick those fans out in the stands. Like you can kind of start recognizing them, right?
Sure.
Like the guys with the BOX, heads on, the box heads on, right? And Herb has done so much for. He's been listening to this podcast. He's so great. He's done so much for the community through like he's gonna kill me, but there's like
he brings people together to play.
But they also he does that. He definitely has his league. And they were doing like auctioning off like broken sticks and heads and things like that for sick kids, through the Bandits. Like, I don't remember the exact hospital. That's why he's going to kill me for it. But
we'll get you next time.
He's done so much for so many years. And he's never asked for anything back, and like a chance to, recognize him for that. And I see him every time we go play, and he travels well, and I was so excited to see him. I don't know if you saw me, but I was giving him a huge hug. I was like, man, you won this. Like, this is wicked. Like, congrats, dude. Right. Yeah. So that was awesome. And then the awards couldn't have been any better. They couldn't have been any more perfect, man. Like, I don't know, like the one that stands out. Which one stands out to you?
Well, I mean, because again, friend of the show and fan fave is Paul Dawson.
Yeah, that stands out to me too, man.
Like defensive
player
of the year, like to be sitting in there soaking shots. And I love it because it's become contagious, right? Like when we talk about it, because I think of who listens to our podcast, and I coach and stuff like that, and so kids are kind of taking it on a little bit too. And again, just a little quick shout out to the Huntsville Hawks U13 team. We played the right way on the weekend, and I'm getting goosebumps again just taking hits to make the play, scoring goals when they should, getting back on defense. Kids that have never played field lacrosse before, scoring goals, playing with confidence, and again using that confidence from game 1 to go into game 2 where it was a little more physical. Just couldn't be prouder. And I think had people watched that, I know the parents on our team on the sidelines were super excited for the kids, but I think you just would have looked at a team that was like, okay, that's a team that's playing the right way, right? They're running hard and they're doing everything. So I thank you for that, because I think you talking to me gives me a lot of street cred with the kids. So defensive player of the year, like, I mean, talk about more than just the block shots. Why is he the defensive player of the year?
Well, he's got a head on his shoulders, right? He's smart. He's been around for the game for a long time. Like, he's a smart player. But this is why I love that award, is because it's like we're recognizing something that doesn't always necessarily get recognized, right? Sometimes the guys that do that gritty work that nobody else wants to do don't get recognized as much as somebody that's going to go out and get the cause turnovers. Like, it easily could have gone to Weiser, it could have gone to me, it could have gone to whoever, right? And it's like,
well, when you're 13-4 and you're plus 50 on goals for and against, right? Like, there's a lot of guys, right?
Paulie is like, he has ideas in the room, right? So like, what happens in our D meetings when we're talking about stuff is it's very important to what the defensive player team, what's the defensive effort is going to be on the floor, right? Yep. So like, maybe Paulie's idea leads to Justin Martin having a really good game and that sort of stuff, right? So he's vocal, right? He's smart. He does the gritty stuff. I'm like, man, let's recognize this guy, because that is great, right?
And so that gets to me, but we'll get to some of the other awards, because obviously, but who chooses these team awards? Is it a team vote, and then you kind of read the tea leaves and be like, well, this was a close vote and a tie, but we're going to give it to Paul?
Dude, I actually have no idea. Yeah. I know we do get a vote, but when I voted, I was like, I don't even know. I didn't get to vote for all those awards. Sure. So I think we were able to vote for MVP. No. MVP and teammate of the year or something. So I don't know who voted, unless we did get to vote for all of them. I don't know. Dude, that's hilarious. I did the survey and I don't remember if we got to, because I was like, I don't remember voting for like
I'm gonna blame Russell Lake College and the 68 emails we get each day too.
Yeah, it just gets lost in my emails. But I was talking to Weiser about it too, and he was like, I don't know. He said he voted for some of the guys. So I wonder if we all sort of got different ones, but probably not. Right. Like, why would someone do that?
I mean, they do that in the media, right? When they do things just so that like the hometown media guys
Scott Loeffler's listen to this and he's going to kill me. He's going to be like, dude, I sent you an email. You voted for all those guys.
We actually went with your picks, Captain.
Yeah, there's a good chance I know I picked Bucky.
Well, yeah, and there's
that one.
And there's, I mean, you look at the list and it'd be hard to argue. But again, you look at when you're a 13-4 team, anybody that's up for those awards is going to be worthy of those awards. So Rookie of the Year, Scanlon. I mean, you've been excited about him all year. He's doing everything the right way and just brings a level of energy. MVPs.
Oh yeah,
right. We got co-MVPs.
Dane and Matt. Easy, that's, of course.
Well, I mean, you're talking again, 2 generational players.
Yeah, man.
Right, like that's pretty wild stuff. But then Teammate of the Year. Let's talk a little bit about that one, because that's to me again
that's a big one.
Yeah, something I would have strived for, right? Because I mean, I'm not going to be the guy that put the ball in the net. I wasn't the guy that was standing in there taking shots, because a bit of a coward.
Yeah, right. You would have done it.
I would have tried. But Teammate of the Year. That was Buchanan.
Yeah. So. Again, that's an easy choice for our team. I think he must have got 100% of the votes, because yes, everybody is great in there, but he's the guy that's always, again.
So this wasn't part of the contract when you said, hey, when you come back for your 3rd year, we convince you, promise you'll get Teammate of the Year.
No, we'll give him all the awards if he keeps coming back. Hey, MVP, bud, keep coming back. No, it's all yours. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like, he's the guy that's going to be not only like he's the organizer, and he's the, like, we call him like the grown up or the dad. Like, he's gonna be able to do all those things. He keeps us going. It's like, you know, we have some team pot money that we need to like spend on each other, and like sort of that go channels through him, right?
Yeah. He's the guy you can trust. Right?
He's the guy you can trust, but he's this guy too. He's the guy that, like, when the offense was struggling for a couple games there, I went to him and I was like, I had to get it from him. I said, what's going on?
Yeah. What's the message?
What's the message? What do we need to do about it? Do we address it now? Do we like, not that there was anything,
No, yeah,
but it's like, do we have a talk as a team? Do we have a talk with the coaches? Do we have like, you go through him because he's that guy that's going to have, he's recognizing all the situations, he's taking into account, and he's like, what are we going to do that's best for the team right now? Right. And he's always that guy that's putting it forward. So, and I don't know, man, he's just the nicest guy ever. Like, all of a sudden you're getting undressed and you're like, he's handing you a towel and he's got like a stack of 30 towels. And he's like, oh, I'm just getting everybody a towel today. You're like, you're just the
How'd
best,
you know,
dude.
man? How'd you know?
Yeah.
That's great. And again, and it's what I've loved about getting close to the team in the way that is pretty unique for us and our family, is the boys being around you guys. And again, them having never met Bucky, but him being like number 2 on both of their lists of favorite players.
Perfect.
And like, just because of I think the way he plays, the excitement, right? They recognize, I mean, my young son Gabe, he's smaller and he's learning, hey, lower center of gravity and what that as an advantage for him, and so he's really identified with Bucky as a guy and scoring some goals, and I think he was pretty excited. He scored a bunch of goals this weekend and felt pretty good about it, right? And then he's also now realizing that, hey, that small stature doesn't mean I can't muck it up too, right?
Yeah, like you wouldn't think that the 150 pound or whatever 153 pound guy is the guy that we're going to put on our ball team that's going to go in there against the 2-on-1. So we put him on the offensive line and he has 2 guys against him, and he's in that position, and it's like, all right, Bucky, you're the smallest guy on the team, but you're going against Hossack and Tarafanko, and we need you to come out with this ball.
Yeah.
Because he's just so smart and he's so good at it, and he's so low, and he's this little water bug that like rips around. And
then
dude,
I don't know if it was his 4th goal or his 3rd goal, but he
goal.
Well, he set the pick and cleared out a defender. Right?
Oh, man, his timing on his picks are awesome.
And now he's wide open.
Open.
And I don't know if it might have been the no goal.
Well, no, the no goal was the one where Farrell won it to me, and then he recognized it, and he stops and he puts the Jets on and goes the other way, and I pass it to him, and he goes to score, and then he must have taken like 15 steps in the crease before.
Oh yeah.
I was like, right. He's like, I thought it went. He goes, I thought it went directly in.
Yeah.
He goes, or else I would have tried to avoid the crease. I'm like, yeah, but you took like 20 steps in there, bro.
It's not a dance floor.
He's the best.
It was great. And so that was teammate of the year. Was that all the awards? Did I miss anything?
Josh got offensive player of the year.
Offensive player of the year. Yeah.
And then man, of course, right? Like the guy can stick the ball in the net. And I thought the awards were perfect. Yep. Like, I wouldn't choose anybody differently for any of them. Again, anybody could have won those awards, but I think the guys that won them are.
And so, question for you though: have you, like, in my opinion, you've sort of been overlooked for Defensive Player of the Year at the NLL level? Have you ever gotten it for the Bandits?
Yeah, I won it I don't know. I won it like 4 or 5 years in a row.
Sure.
And then I think they stopped giving it to me.
Yeah.
But it's not. I'm not saying I'm the best defenseman on league, but I'm a lot like Paulie, where it's like, I have ideas. I'm involved. I'm doing these things. I'm doing the gritty work too. But it's a chance. I get recognized a lot.
For sure. It's
a chance to recognize people, right?
And it is, you get recognized by the people sort of in the know. It's not necessarily the big thing. Like, so I go back to the fact that you were named, like, for Team Canada, and at the World Championships, you were the best defenseman in the world. Mm-hmm. And I think that was also, it was like, yeah, you had a great tournament, but I think it was also a recognition by a lot of people around. It's like, the guy's a difference maker.
Yeah. I think
it's not just.
I think it's a chance to recognize those guys, right? Yeah, exactly. So he was so funny. He comes to the bench. He's like, "All right, who do I gotta pay? Who do I owe money to for winning this award?" And it's like, love that.
And so and then that goes. So what do you guys get for these awards, right? You don't get anything for finishing the top of the table.
They got a plaque and a trophy and something to put on their wall. And I'll show you the one I got from 2014 or 15 or whatever.
And so it's a plaque, because I did see, I know Albany did it, and it was probably, again, their last home game, but they did it, and they had friends of the show, Traditional Lacrosse, did up their little trophies, and they are sweet, man. Little wooden sticks, and
that's cool.
Really, really cool stuff, right? And so so they got you on one spot, I think, is Albany's got nicer player team trophies.
Dude, the first year we did it, I don't know, it might have been 2014 or 15. The first year we did, we got these crazy bronze statues of a buffalo, like, coming out of the, like, galloping, man.
Sure.
I should show people that thing. It was this gnarly.
I think
thing.
I've seen it actually. Now that you're mentioning it, right?
Dude, it was so sick.
Yeah.
And then the next year they were wood, and they're still beautiful, but it felt like, okay, we can't keep this thing going. We got to sort of like.
Yeah, sure. Although now, hey, I mean, when you're sending regular season attendance records, I know the Buffalo Bandits are probably just an accounting error in the Pagula family fortune, but can maybe do a little bit more for you guys because again, when you're able to celebrate it and show cool stuff like that, like. I think it just gets more eyes on the sport,
but
right?
Those man, not to get too like serious. I know we're having a couple beers or whatever, but like
just one.
Yeah, just one. But the draw we have for fans is the reason we can keep our team together. I don't know if the fans understand that.
Right.
Them coming to the game and filling our stands is the reason that we have Josh and Dane both on our team.
Right.
Look at another team in the league and how many times can they keep Josh and Dane and then keep Kluch and Frazier
and the oldest defense in the history of the game, right?
and
because you guys are veterans,
and
get paid.
Vino, we're over the luxury tasks by like we're almost like double what other teams are, right? Because
it was kind of like Toronto in the late 90s, like when they were playing at the ACC and able to kind of keep those teams together. And then people for figuring out, well, why aren't they able to continue to keep? Well, because they were now only averaging 10,000 fans in a place where they had to pay a lot of money to just be on the floor, right?
Yeah.
Like you need to sell out to be there. And so, I mean, to give credit, right?
And if we don't have these fans, Buffalo's not taking a loss to pay the guys. They're not going to do that. So
and that's the other thing that I really love about going to lacrosse games is it's a sea of orange and black, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody's geared up and everybody's got an autograph somewhere on their jersey or on their hat or whatever else. And that's not unique to Buffalo.
Tell me about it. I probably signed 19,000 every weekend.
But it's great. But it's not unique to Buffalo. What's unique to Buffalo is that you're getting 19,000 fans every time. But everywhere you go, it sort of feels like, and again, dating myself, but going to Maple Leaf Gardens in the 80s,
totally.
Right? Like when everybody was wearing jerseys to the game and not suits and ties, and everybody was kind of involved and felt like it was their team. Now, the Leafs
it's
of
very
the 80s
suits and ties-y now, eh?
Unfortunately, right? It's just it's a bit too bad. It's certainly not the atmosphere. And again, going into the playoffs now, Battle of Ontario, maybe that gets some juice back. But
I know the Leafs things though is like, don't they have like their season tickets are through businesses and stuff?
Yeah. Well, because it's so expensive, you got to have seat licenses and all this other stuff.
So the only every time you see like somebody in a jersey is because the business gave that family member a ticket, and the kids get to go in their own jerseys, right? Yeah. Otherwise, it's a meeting spot.
Yeah, it is. It's unfortunate, and I mean, I don't know what the answer is because to keep paying these guys the millions of dollars, right? Like it's not coming out of the owners' pockets, right?
They need a beach ball like in Buffalo. Send a beach ball around to those suits, eh?
I do love the broadcast. I mean, it's just in the middle of the game, and all of a sudden the ball is still going.
Flying by. It goes on the floor. The ref just throws it back, keeps the game going.
That's good, man. But when we talk about all of this, and this is all building towards the playoffs, and we're not quite there yet, but for the Bandits, everything's been decided. You're the top of the table. The playoffs go through Buffalo now, and is that one of the stated goals back in November? Like, we won every possible home game that we can in the playoffs.
It didn't become the goal until it was very recent. Like, so there's those micro goals along the way, and it was like, okay, so what are we playing for against Halifax? Well, we're playing so everything comes through Buffalo now, right? And that's like, so literally it didn't become a goal of ours until this game.
Sure.
Right. But that's what it is. So I'm guessing, this is a leading question to what is this next game going to be for?
Right.
I'm guessing that's where we're going with this.
That is exactly. Look at us. It's like,
look at this.
You want to start interviewing me and asking me questions?
Yeah, I should. Well, maybe, dude. What do you think this is for? Because I was thinking about this, and it's like, this is a very tough one. Like, maybe we just rest everybody, but you can't. You
can't rest everybody. And it's certainly not in the mentality, I would imagine, of you guys wanting to take a rest, like, because you guys want to play. But then you look at, NHLers want to play, NFLers want to play, NBA players, they get a little bit of flack, a little bit more. But when you're getting paid bajillions of dollars and, hey, I'm going to go and twist my ankle in a nothing game and it could cost me something. So does that come into it? Because the other side of it is then you can't go into a game and be playing 75% because that's actually when you get hurt.
Totally. That's a great point.
And so I have you had those conversations yet as a team or as players, or like coaches come and like, hey, come to Georgia, enjoy the time, but you're not playing this week? Or
Well, you don't have enough players to sit everybody.
right.
So you can't sit everybody. So we got to play. So you have to think of it as, this is a regular game for us. Everybody prepare the same. We're going in to win. We're going in with all our guns a-blazing. You never know. You might see somebody who's got something tweaked sit. It happened throughout the year already, right, guys? It's like you're not hurt, but your hamstring's acting up, or your elbow's kind of swollen, or whatever, right? So
we're done with all of our bye weeks.
yeah. So you'll see guys sit. So there might be a guy, maybe two, but the reality is you have to treat it like a regular season game, and it brings you to the next point of like we might see these guys in playoffs.
Well, and that's it. So you guys don't have much to play out, but man, do they have everything to play for?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, a loss doesn't eliminate them, but a win should keep them because they currently sit 7th. So a win, they should 7th. They may still drop to 8th.
So even if they win, you never know where they're gonna.
You never know. I mean, I'm assuming that they've kind of done it by tiebreakers and everything else like that. So if Calgary wins both of their games, they finish 10-8. If Georgia wins, they're 9-9. San Diego wins, they're 9-9. Ottawa wins, they're 9-9, and Colorado wins, and they're 9-9. I don't even know if that's necessarily possible because again, all the permutations were breaking my brain today when I was trying to figure it out.
I wonder if that Lax Metrics guy's got like a chart somewhere.
I think he does.
Nice.
Actually, and so it really wouldn't be that difficult. I mean, but my brain just couldn't handle it. So, but if everybody wins, I'm assuming the standings stay the same, right? Based on they've already got tiebreakers and everything else kind of sorted out on the stats. But then it's like, well, what happens if Georgia wins, but Calgary loses both of their games and they finish 8-10?
They have a doubleheader.
They have doubleheaders. Yeah, right. Like sitting right there in that 5th spot is. Or maybe that's 6. Yeah, that 4-5 game, as we said, slobber knocker.
Slobber knocker. Oh, full circle. We've come full circle.
But so that's it. So now you potentially could be facing Georgia, a team that took you to overtime last year, that put you on the brink of being eliminated, and again demonstrated the importance of that home floor advantage. Because going into that, I mean, gosh, you guys had to have been feeling it going into that overtime. Like, this could be it. This is the end of our run, but we don't want it to end.
Didn't sink in for a second.
Yeah.
You don't even think about it.
No,
we talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
You can't think about it. Yeah.
But so you can't go and give these guys the win because you potentially are playing them next week. And as you've said, to beat the team two times in a row, you don't want to give them that confidence. But then on the other side of it is like, these are guys that like they've got pride and they're playing for everything. They're playing for another game to be able to demonstrate that they deserve to be the team that knocks off the Bandits and ends their run. Dude, right? Because everyone's got it for you.
Any team with Lyle Thompson and Dobson and net is going to be dangerous, right? So that's what I feel like we're playing for, is to potentially not meet them in the playoffs. Right.
Although beating them could still playing them. Beating them could put them drop them to 9th, or 8th, whereas a win, they're going to be 7th, possibly 6th.
But if you're playing them, you don't. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And again, this is where the media can take over and kind of leave you guys out of it. But do you guys talk about like all of these possible permutations?
Kinda, but we just laugh. We're like, man, we could play anybody.
Yeah,
and you just, when we find out who we're playing, then we have to just deal with it from there. But it is nuts. And I think that's like, you have to find your reason that you're going to go into that game and play as hard as you can, right? It's not a rest game. It's not any of these things. You're still making statements and you're still trying to continue this contagious shifts in these contagious games, because all of a sudden you're going to have a 1-game playoff, and that's what it is. This is just like the NFL, man. It comes down to one game, and it's like, it's the nerve-wracking when you feel like you want to be prepared. Then you're like, oh no, am I over-prepared? Am I thinking too much? Like, oh gosh, it gets crazy. It gets crazy after that.
Well, and that's why we do this. A little bit of it, as you said, again, and then this then gets into it, is also the distractions that start coming up at this time of the year. You guys are wanting to dial in for playoffs, but is part of it also ensuring that there's eyeballs? Because again, as you said, here's the best team in the league, selling out, getting lots of people watching. Hopefully they're going to tune in on ESPN. They're going to listen on 620 The Bet, right? They're going to like be there, and so you want to put on a good show for them and have them coming back and keep that excitement going. Does that mentality set in as like ride that momentum? We're growing the game. People are excited about it. Like, we are the talk of Buffalo right now, and we're trying to make it the talk of Southern Ontario because it's a lot easier to be Bandit Land North when the Rock are looking and discussing who they're going to draft.
Bandit Land North. I like that. Yeah, I don't know. You ride it, but you also feel like sort of obligated to try to do your part to grow the game. Like, everybody wants to leave this game better than the way they found it, right? And that's how you grow this progressively. And
so now you're taking on, like you said, legends, right? And like Lyle Thompson, like there's a guy that like everybody should have an opportunity to watch this guy play the game of lacrosse because it's noticeable.
Yeah,
when he's got the ball and when he's on the floor, right? In the same way,
and he plays it the right way, though, man. He plays so hard, and he forechecks and he runs back on D, and he doesn't say a lick out there. He just plays it the way he wants to play it, and yeah, I don't know, a lot of respect for him.
Is that fun to play against a guy like Lyle? Or?
I love it.
Yeah,
love it. I love playing against great players, man. Yeah. I just want to play.
It's a test of best on best.
Right? Yeah, like at the end of the day, like it would be nice to just sort of just stomp everybody, but that's not the reality. So it's like there's a niceness to having to be these big, man, this Halifax game that just passed. Like I was so excited for that because a lot of those guys are my teammates with the Chiefs, right? Yep. So it's like I want to play them so hard that they love me for it almost, right? It's
I can't wait to have him on my side.
Exactly, right? And so yeah, it's the same sort of thing with Lyle and Georgia and their coaching staff with Eddie and Sean Ferris and these guys. And it's like I have so much. They were the Team Canada administration, and it's like, yeah, man, I like that's part of it too. Is I want them to hate playing against me because I'm playing so well against them as all the time, right? And it's like I want them to shake my hand and say, "Wow, you're still doing it, eh, bud? You're still going at that high level." And so that's sort of a little micro goal.
And does it wiggle itself in there that like I kind of want Georgia in there? I mean, they've been kind of our favorites this year, like as teams that like, man, they're better than their record says, and like I don't know what's going on. They lost a tough one. Like that win guarantees them their spot in. Like does that come at like?
Yeah, you can't hope for a team because that team will stomp you.
Right.
You can't hope for a team, whatever that team is. You can't be like, oh, I hope I get them because you're going into it with the wrong mindset.
Good old Leafs fans. We want Florida. Yeah,
look at that. How'd that go?
It's a good thing it was Leafs fans saying that, not anybody else.
All right, we got to wrap this thing up.
Yeah, okay. Buddy. Yeah, has it been? Look at that. 42 minutes. All right, that's 2 podcasts and a late night here. But
we got our juicy light IPA.
Okay, so as we wrap it up, so it's the last game of the season. You're traveling down to Georgia. People always are interested in what that looks like for coming from the north. Well, you after you've boiled up all your sap.
Still some out there.
So practice Friday?
Yeah, practice Friday in Georgia.
In Georgia?
In Georgia, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and otherwise it'd be at practice right now.
Yeah.
Practice at Georgia Friday.
So that's a Friday morning flight?
Friday morning flight.
Yeah.
And then, and then we'll play. And then Sunday I'm going to go to St. Catharines, visit my parents, have the Easter hoo-ha down there, and then back up here Monday and back to school on Tuesday.
And preparing for game 1 of the playoffs.
Game 1. We're on a Friday, dude.
Yeah.
How about that? It's like you sell out all these games, and then they're like, oh, we're going to slap you on a Friday. It's like, I don't understand who makes the scheduling. I'm sure there's some sort of conflict that made it have to be that way, but I was like, I don't know, kind of a bummer, right? Like,
Saturday night, you guys been rocking it.
You sort of earned that like Saturday night game, and it's like to not get that sort of a bummer. But I don't know, maybe they're trying to grow the game in Saskatchewan a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know.
Let's not get into it because it's going to be an exciting time. It's a 7:30 game down in Georgia. They're going to there'll hopefully be about 15 times the number of fans watching than we'll probably have in the stadium, unfortunately. But hopefully it'll be a good show because you're bringing Bandit fans travel well, and again, any chance to watch Lyle is going to be a good one. So tune in, listen, and thanks for this, Cap, and good luck. And let's get onto these playoffs for next week.
Thanks, buddy. Show up Friday, even though it's a Friday game. Everybody still come.
It's going to be a sellout.
Right on.
All right.
Peace.
Go Bandits.